From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
All right, here we go. Welcome to SportsLine right here on News Channel 5 Plus. I'm John Burton with you for the next hour. Happy to have you along with us here on this rainy Wednesday night. Do be careful out there. Obviously, severe storms throughout our viewing area. You can keep up to date with the latest. Make sure you're following Bree Smith, Heather Mathis, Leland Statham, Nikki D. Ray, and Henry Rothenberg on social media as we try to navigate through these storms coming through the area. Of course, over on News Channel 5 at 10 o'clock, we'll have a complete update of everything going on, but make sure you're staying in touch with our weather crew throughout the evening as we try to navigate through these storms here in the Middle Tennessee area throughout this Wednesday night. Again, glad to have you along with us. Your phone calls are welcome. Your final chance to talk about the Final Four coming up. Of course, it is a packed Final Four coming up Saturday. You can watch it on TBS. Of course, Villanova, Kansas in the first game, followed by the game everybody's talking about, North Carolina versus Duke. First time these two teams, these bitter rivals in the ACC for decades upon decades, are meeting in an NCAA tournament game, and it happens to be in the Final Four, and it also happens to be in Mike Krzyzewski's final year as Duke head coach. Can the Tar Heels spoil the party for Coach K, or will the Blue Devils cut down the nets with Coach K one more time? We will find out in the days ahead. So your thoughts on that are certainly welcome. If you'd like to call in, give your prediction, or talk about the Final Four. It's been a great tournament so far. Breaking news just coming down the pike about a half an hour ago. Bruce Arians is stepping down as head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He will take a front office job. It looks like Todd Bowles, their defensive coordinator, will take over now as their head coach. This was sudden news. Nobody really saw this coming. And people are wondering, does this coincide with the fact that Tom Brady just a couple of weeks ago unretired after retiring? So there had been reports that there was friction between Arians and Tom Brady that we don't know, but this news coming down pretty suddenly. Peter King, the legendary NFL writer, breaking that news probably about a half an hour ago. So Bruce Arians, no longer the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Todd Bowles, his defensive coordinator, is set to take over. Meanwhile, we've got the Predators winning 4-1 last night over the Ottawa Senators at Bridgestone Arena. The Preds now move into that 3 spot in the Central Division, which gives them a favorable playoff matchup. Nobody's catching the Colorado Avalanche atop that division. They're ahead by 14 points, but just a couple of points separate the Preds between the 2 spot and the 4 spot. So they still have some work to do as they navigate their way through the season. Last night's game, certainly an interesting one. The Preds won despite committing 6 penalties. UC Saros had another great game in net, 36 saves on 37 shots, and really saved the Predators bacon because they were shorthanded a lot during this game, giving up a lot of penalties, as we said. But the Ottawa Senators managing just 1 goal. It was a power play goal, but that was their only goal of the night. 2 goals for Michael Mccarron. And again, we talked about the great game by UC Saros. After the game, Preds head coach John Hines meeting the media to discuss last night's win over the Sens.
I got a lot of thoughts on this one. I would say that I think our goaltender played fantastic. I thought our penalty kill was a big difference in the game tonight. And I thought we fought and found a way to win. I don't think it was a recipe to give yourself a chance to win every night, but I thought there were certain components in the game that were good enough and certain players in the game that were good enough to give us a chance to win.
Little concern, John. You guys bounced back 2 nights in a row here, but kind of this little bit of a trend of falling into holes early in games.
Well, I think that they've come in different ways. I mean, specifically tonight, I think we took 3 penalties in the first 5 minutes, down 5 on 3. That's tough sledding right off the bat, and I thought that was an issue in tonight's game overall. With the amount of penalties we took, and then back-to-back penalties, and I thought that was the case tonight. I think we've kind of moved past a bit what's going on the road trip, but I thought specifically coming into this week and tonight's game, that was an issue for us.
Michael Mccarron's not going to show up on the score sheet every night, but he certainly helps out tonight. What does a guy like him do for you, especially maybe in a game like this?
Well, yeah, I mean, Michael plays such a big role in the team. He's a great team guy. I think he plays some hard minutes. There's some nights he plays a lot, some nights he doesn't, but he's such a great teammate. And I think that line tonight, I think Mccarron, Tomasino, and Cousins, they were, when things weren't going our way for the most part, I thought that they were really consistent tonight. I thought they played the right way. They were committed. They impacted the game. I think all three of them. Obviously, they scored the nice 5-on-5 goal. Michael had the shorthanded goal. But I thought in general it was, that's why you need depth and you need contributions from everyone through your lineup, because some nights it's hard. I thought Ottawa played hard. They made it hard on us. And that line made a big difference in the game. So it was nice to see for, I think the commitment level that they have night in and night out as being great teammates and making an impact. And usually when that line's going, I think the end results are usually good.
How difficult is it for a goalie to stop a 2-on-none rush, and how smoothly did Saros play that one?
Yeah, Juice played fantastic. I think, we relied on him too much. He was a big difference, obviously, in the hockey game. And, as we talk about, we want to ice a game that gives us the best chance to win. And tonight our goaltending was excellent. Was probably the biggest difference in the game. And I think that's something collectively we've got to respond here against Buffalo with a much more, complete effort and attention to detail and icing a game that gives us the best chance to win, not relying on our goaltender.
John Hynes, Predators head coach. Yeah, an interesting game last night. As you heard him mention, the Preds were down on a 5-on-3 Ottawa power play. They survived that. UC Saros coming up with a lot of big saves. And, of course, the 2 goals by Michael Mccarron that were mentioned earlier, one of them of the short-handed variety. And, again, you heard in the press conference there, Michael McCarron's not a guy that's going to show up on the stat sheet on too many nights, but he had a big game last night with 2 goals. Here's what he had to say after last night's game.
I just think we were resilient tonight. It wasn't our best. They're a stingy team over there. They didn't give us much. We had to play smart. We had to play a different kind of game to beat those guys, and I don't think we did it enough, but we did it. We did it enough to win the game. So, Juice played. Obviously, we relied on him too much. We took too many penalties, but tight teams find a way to win those kind of games, and I think we got such a tight group in there. We were able to stick together and find a way.
Two goal games here in the month. What's it say about what you're doing and how you're playing this?
Yeah, I just been the hard work starting to pay off for me, and obviously I'm playing with some amazing players, and I think we're a really good fourth line. Cuzzy and Tomasino, they're really skilled, and I try to make some room for them out there, and they find me. So. I've been lucky enough to play with those two quite a bit now, and we've been familiar with each other now, and it's been good, and we need to continue to be reliable in all areas of the ice and continue to get better.
Mike, we've talked about it before, but just the way that this season has gone for you to really establish your spot here, one, how good has that felt? And then especially on a night like this when you're able to contribute in that way, when you tie it all together, what comes to mind?
It makes me flash back on a lot of things. The first organization I was in, I wasn't able to play to NHL caliber of hockey, and as soon as I came here, I don't know if the flip switched or something, or if the coaches or the team, I think it's the teammates and the coaches combined, they believed in me, and they gave me great opportunities, and I was able to run with them. So obviously lots of hard work has gone into everything, and the way our team plays fits my style, so it's great, and just want to stay humble and continue to keep this train rolling here.
The resiliency before, you guys are doing a good job of coming back, but I imagine you'd like a few stronger starts than you've had here recently. Yeah,
it's been something we've talked about, and we're usually a good team, a team that has really good starts. So, whether it's the way we're warming up or what, or the music, I don't know. So we gotta tighten that up a bit and figure out how to come out of games and in the first 5 minutes, establish our game. So, we're going to continue to talk about it and until it gets better. And I'm not worried about it. I think our team is more than ready to play some games. We just got to figure out how to start on time.
You talked about the strength of your line mates, but what is it that you guys on the fourth and the third line, that the bottom six, what are you guys doing so well that's really been helping this team lock down on defense, especially protecting late games?
Well, our third line is a bunch of mutants. They're They win face-offs. They're hard on pucks. You know, they chip it in. They play. You know, they're Predators hockey. Those guys, and I think they really run our team the way we want to play. You know, our line's a bit different. I think, you know, I'm playing with two really high-skilled players. So for me, I try to play like the guys in the third line and chip it in and play with my body and create some room for those two guys. And I think it's been working because those two guys are really silky and they can make plays with each other. And I just go to the net and, you know, try to cash in on some, you know, greasy rebounds or things like that. So, you know, I think our bottom six has been good. I think, I mean, there's always room to be better, and you know, we're going to continue to get better here heading into the playoffs, and we're excited for it.
Max, some of your teammates have already talked about you guys have to have that playoff mentality already. How important is it to have that, and how you keep it going into this last month?
Well, it's huge. I mean, if you look at our matchups coming up, we play. You know, I think we play. What is it, 16 more games, and I think 10 of them are against top 10 teams in the league. So right now we got to continue to have that playoff mentality, and especially teams in our own division. I think we play Mini twice, Colorado. I think we'll play St. Louis again. So those are teams that we have to, you know, come out and you know, establish ourselves and say, hey, like, if we're going to play them in the playoffs, it's not going to be an easy out. So we need to have that playoff mentality against every team coming down the stretch and heading into playoffs. And I think, you know, that notion's being set around the room, and I think we're all ready for the challenge.
And looking to the future, what do you think a playoffs run would mean for Nashville as a city?
I mean, this is my first year here playing full-time, so I was here last year on the taxi squad for playoffs, and this place was crazy, and it's really cool. And even being around for the Titans, I mean, the city was crazy for the Titans playoffs, so I think, you know, for us, we're trying to set ourselves up best position possible to have the most success in playoffs. And for our fans are awesome, and I think for our city it'd be huge. And you know, I'm sure everybody says we have the best fans in the league, and it's awesome to see them come out every night and support us, and it'd be awesome to see the town go crazy.
All right, Michael Mccarron with a big night last night for the Nashville Predators with 2 goals as the Preds beat the Ottawa Senators 4-1. Up next, they'll take on the Buffalo Sabres. All right, your phone calls are welcome, 615-737-7767. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, I've got a little bit of an issue I need to settle with a colleague of mine. So stay tuned for that. We'll get you details on that coming up in just a little bit. But first, next segment, we get you ready for the big baseball series between Tennessee, the #1 team in the nation, and the Vandy boys. We're going to hear from head coach Tim Corbin straight ahead on SportsLine. Stay with us.